The massive holographic projection flickered across Earth's night sky, casting an eerie blue glow over cities worldwide. The alien message was simple yet earth-shattering. Your species has been deemed worthy of integration into the Galactic Empire. Prepare for assimilation within 30 solar cycles. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the UN Security Council podium, her weathered face illuminated by the chamber's harsh lights. The room buzzed with nervous tension as world leaders leaned forward in their seats. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of her next words, "humanity has unanimously decided to do something unprecedented in galactic history. We're saying no." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Galactic Empire had conquered thousands of civilizations across dozens of galaxies. No species had ever refused integration, but humans had always been different, stubborn in ways that defied conventional logic. 3 months earlier, when the first Imperial scouts arrived in their crystalline ships, they'd expected to find a primitive civilization ready to bow before superior technology. Instead, they discovered a species that had already mastered fusion power, quantum computing, and was taking its first steps into faster-than-light travel. What truly shocked them, though, was humanity's fierce independence and our complete disinterest in their offered protection. "Our intelligence suggests the Empire isn't the utopia they claim," Sarah continued, pulling up classified footage on the chamber's main screen. "We've intercepted transmissions showing entire civilizations reduced to resource extraction colonies, their cultures erased and replaced with imperial standards. They don't want partners. They want obedient servants." The images showed worlds stripped of their resources, species forced to abandon their art, their music, their very identities. Everything that made them unique was sacrificed to feed the Empire's endless hunger for uniformity and control. Dr. James Rodriguez, Earth's leading xenoanthropologist, stepped forward next. "We've analyzed their social structure. The Empire operates on absolute conformity. They can't comprehend why any species would choose independence over their protection. Our refusal isn't just unexpected, it's incomprehensible to them." The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just declining an invitation. We were challenging the Empire's fundamental worldview. Our existence as a spacefaring civilization that preferred dangerous freedom over comfortable submission threatened everything they believed about the natural order of the universe. Sarah's voice cut through the silence. "We've already begun implementing the Aegis Protocol. Our quantum shield network will be operational within 20 days. Every major city is now protected by plasma defense systems. The lunar shipyards are working around the clock to expand our fleet." Outside the UN building, the streets of New York hummed with nervous energy. Ordinary people went about their lives, but there was a new determination in their steps. Humans had faced extinction-level threats before: climate crisis, nuclear war, artificial intelligence risks, and each time we pulled together and found a way forward. But the stakes had never been higher. The Empire's arrival forced humanity to answer a fundamental question. What were we willing to sacrifice to maintain our independence? The answer, it seemed, was everything if necessary. As the holographic warning continued to pulse overhead, a small child looked up at her mother and asked, "Are we going to be okay?" The mother smiled, but her eyes remained fixed on the alien message in the sky. "We're going to do what humans do best, sweetheart. We're going to prove them wrong." The Empire had given Earth 30 days to prepare for integration. They were about to learn that humans had some terms of our own. In the vast underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Chen reviewed the latest intelligence reports. The Empire's scout ships had withdrawn to the edge of the solar system, but their presence loomed like storm clouds on the horizon. Through quantum interceptors, Earth's defense forces monitored their communications, piecing together a disturbing picture of what integration really meant. "They'd done this thousands of times," Lieutenant David Parker explained, pointing to a holographic display showing the fate of other civilizations. "First comes the offer, then the ultimatum, and finally—" His voice trailed off as images of devastated worlds filled the screen. Each civilization that had resisted was initially given a chance to submit peacefully. Those that refused faced overwhelming force. But Earth had an advantage none of those other worlds possessed. During the 3 months since first contact, humanity had been secretly preparing. The quantum shield network, reverse engineered from studying the Empire's own technology, was nearly complete. More importantly, we had something the Empire couldn't comprehend: a unified planet willing to fight for its right to choose its own path. Dr. Rodriguez's team had made another crucial discovery while analyzing imperial cultural databases. "Look at this," he said, highlighting passages from their historical records. "The Empire hasn't faced genuine resistance in over 10,000 years. They've grown complacent, relying on their technological superiority and the assumption that all lesser species will eventually submit." In orbit, the International Space Defense Fleet conducted daily drills. Ships crewed by former rivals now worked in perfect harmony, their differences forgotten in the face of a common threat. Chinese quantum drives powered American plasma cannons, while Russian shield technology protected European sensor arrays. The old borders that had divided us now seemed laughably insignificant. Back on Earth, something remarkable was happening. Instead of panic, the impending deadline had sparked a renaissance of human creativity and determination. Street artists painted murals of Earth's united defense forces. Children played humans versus Empire in schoolyards, always casting themselves as the brave defenders of Earth. Even the entertainment industry had adapted, producing shows and games that reinforced humanity's spirit of resistance. Sarah walked through a crowded market in Singapore, watching as life continued despite the alien ultimatum hanging over their heads. A street vendor offered her a bowl of noodles, refusing payment with a smile. "For the Admiral who told the Empire where to stick their offer," he said with a wink. These small gestures of solidarity appeared everywhere, reminding her what they were fighting for. But not everything was going according to plan. The quantum shield network was consuming enormous amounts of power, straining the global energy grid. And there were worrying signs that the Empire was massing forces beyond Neptune, far more ships than would be needed for a simple integration ceremony. Dr. Rodriguez's latest report was equally concerning. "They're studying us," he explained during an emergency briefing. "Every time we demonstrate a new capability, they adjust their strategy. They're learning, adapting. The question is, are we teaching them to fear us, or are we just showing them where to strike?" The Empire had promised integration would bring peace, prosperity, and advancement. What they couldn't understand was that humanity had looked at their perfect, ordered universe and seen a prison. "We'd rather face extinction as free humans than live forever as slaves to an empire that demanded conformity as the price of survival." As the deadline approached, Earth's defenders prepared for the fight of their lives. But in the back of everyone's mind was a single, haunting question. What if the Empire wasn't just testing our defenses? What if they were testing our resolve? The quantum sensors detected the Empire's movement at dawn. Their massive fleet, previously hidden behind Jupiter's magnetic field, began advancing toward Earth. Admiral Chen watched from the command center as thousands of crystalline ships emerged from faster-than-light travel, their formations blocking out entire star fields. "Time to impact?" she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Lieutenant Parker checked the tactical display, his face illuminated by the holographic readouts. 4 hours until they reach the quantum shield perimeter. They're moving slower than their capabilities suggest. They want us to see them coming. Around the world, citizens gathered in public spaces, their eyes turned skyward. The Empire's ships were now visible even in daylight, shimmering like artificial constellations. Parents held their children close, couples clasped hands, and strangers stood shoulder to shoulder in silent solidarity. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. Dr. Rodriguez burst into the command center, clutching a data tablet. "Admiral, you need to see this. We've decoded more of their tactical communications." He pulled up a series of transmissions on the main screen. "They're not just coming to integrate Earth. They're bringing their entire regional fleet. They mean to make an example of us." The International Space Defense Fleet moved into position, their ships forming a protective web around Earth. Each vessel carried a piece of humanity's combined innovation. Chinese antimatter drives, Indian gravity manipulation systems, Brazilian stealth technology. Years of international cooperation had produced defenses that the Empire couldn't have anticipated. Sarah received reports from defense stations worldwide. The quantum shield network was operating at full capacity, drawing power from every fusion plant on the planet. In orbit, the lunar shipyards had gone dark, their crews evacuated to underground bunkers. Everything now depended on the plan they'd spent months preparing. Multiple targeting locks detected, Parker announced, his fingers dancing across the control panel. They're scanning our defenses. Wait. He paused, confusion crossing his face. Admiral, they're broadcasting on all frequencies. They want to communicate. The main screen flickered to life, revealing the Imperial High Commander. The alien's crystalline features reflected the light strangely, creating an almost hypnotic effect. Your resistance is unprecedented, it said, its translated voice echoing through the command center. No species has ever rejected integration with such unity. We offer one final chance. Submit now, and your world will be spared the consequences of defiance. Sarah stepped forward, her back straight and her voice clear. We've seen the consequences of submission in your database records. We've witnessed what integration really means. Humanity's answer remains unchanged. Earth is not yours to take. The Imperial Commander's crystalline features shifted in what might have been surprise. You would choose extinction over perfection, over order, over peace? There was genuine confusion in its translated voice, as if it couldn't comprehend why any species would reject their vision of the universe. We choose freedom, Sarah replied. We choose the right to make our own mistakes, to find our own path. Humanity will not kneel before your empire, no matter the cost. The silence that followed seemed to stretch for eternity. On the tactical displays, the Empire's fleet continued its advance, now close enough that their individual ships were clearly visible from Earth's surface. The quantum shield hummed with energy, ready to face its greatest test. Dr. Rodriguez's voice cut through the tension. Admiral, their fleet. They're deploying something we've never seen before. Energy readings are off the charts. The tactical display blazed with warning signals as thousands of Imperial ships began to glow with an intense, otherworldly light. In that moment, as humanity stood on the brink, Sarah thought of the street vendor in Singapore, of children playing in schoolyards, of all the small, precious things that made human life worth defending. Whatever the Empire was about to unleash, Earth would face it together. The Imperial Commander's final words rang through the command center. Then you leave us no choice. Let the consequence of defiance be witnessed by all. The Empire's ships unleashed their weapons, but not in the way anyone had expected. Instead of destructive energy beams, waves of golden light washed over Earth's quantum shield, carrying what appeared to be streams of data. The command center systems went into overdrive trying to process the unexpected assault. It's not an attack. It's a revelation, Dr. Rodriguez shouted, his eyes wide as he interpreted the incoming data. The golden light was carrying records of every civilization the Empire had ever encountered, not just their defeats, but their entire histories. They're showing us the truth about the galaxy, trying to break our will by revealing how alone we really are. The images were overwhelming. Countless civilizations, each unique and beautiful, all eventually absorbed into the Empire's uniformity. Some had fought, others had submitted willingly, but the end result was always the same. Their individuality erased, their cultures reduced to footnotes in the Empire's grand design. But as the data poured in, Lieutenant Parker noticed something extraordinary. Admiral, look at these patterns. He highlighted a series of anomalies in the historical records. Every integrated species shows signs of resistance. Even after centuries of imperial control, they've maintained hidden elements of their original cultures. The Empire's integration isn't as perfect as they claim. Sarah leaned forward, hope flickering in her eyes. Cross-reference these patterns with their fleet movements. The tactical display shifted, revealing something the Empire never intended them to see. Their massive show of force wasn't just about Earth. They were also preventing their own integrated worlds from witnessing an act of successful defiance. They're afraid, Sarah realized, her voice rising with sudden understanding. Not just of us, but of what we represent. Every species they've conquered still dreams of freedom. If Earth successfully resists integration, she didn't need to finish the thought. The implications were clear. Humanity wasn't just fighting for Earth, we were fighting for every species trapped within the Empire's grasp. But the Empire wasn't finished. The golden light intensified, and new images filled the screens. Visions of peace, prosperity, and technological wonders beyond human imagination. "The carrot after the stick," Dr. Rodriguez muttered. "They're showing us everything we could gain through submission." The Imperial commander's voice returned, softer now, almost gentle. "Why do you cling to your chaotic existence when perfection is within your grasp? Look upon our achievements. See the peace we offer. The galaxy need not be a place of struggle and uncertainty." Sarah's response was interrupted by urgent reports from the lunar observation posts. The Empire's fleet was shifting, not to attack, but to create a massive energy pattern in space itself. They were about to demonstrate their ultimate power, the ability to rewrite reality within a localized area. "They're going to show us our future," Dr. Rodriguez whispered, horror creeping into his voice as he decoded their intentions. "They're creating a temporal window to show us what Earth becomes if we continue to resist." But before the Empire could complete their demonstration, the quantum shield network detected something impossible. Deep within the Imperial fleet, energy signatures identical to Earth's defense systems were appearing. The integrated species, hidden within the Empire's own armada, had maintained more than just their cultures. They'd preserved their technologies, waiting for the right moment. Sarah's tactical display exploded with new data as hidden resistance movements, spanning thousands of worlds, began responding to Earth's defiance. The Empire's perfect formation wavered as ships throughout their fleet experienced unexpected power fluctuations. The Imperial commander's image flickered, its crystalline features showing emotion for the first time. Fear. "What have you done?" it demanded, but Sarah wasn't sure if the question was directed at Earth or at the Empire's own supposedly loyal subjects. Humanity had never been alone in its defiance. We had unknowingly sparked something that countless subjugated species had been waiting for, a chance to reclaim their freedom. The real question was whether Earth's quantum shield could protect not just our planet, but the hopes of an entire galaxy. As alarms blared throughout the command center, Sarah faced a decision that would determine not just humanity's fate, but potentially the future of every species trapped within the Empire's grasp. Sarah made her decision in a heartbeat. "Redirect power from the quantum shield," she ordered. "Focus everything on creating a transmission corridor. If we can broadcast our shield frequency to those resistance ships," she met Dr. Rodriguez's gaze. "Every species deserves the right to choose their own path." The command center erupted into action. Lieutenant Parker's fingers flew across the controls, redirecting the shield network's massive energy reserves. They would be vulnerable for exactly 42 seconds, enough time for the Empire to destroy them, but also enough time to share their defense technology with every resistance ship in range. Multiple Imperial vessels powering up weapons. The warning echoed through the command center as the Empire realized what was happening. Their perfect formation dissolved into chaos as hundreds of ships suddenly broke ranks, their crews seizing the moment they'd waited centuries for. The Imperial commander's image reappeared, its crystalline features fracturing with rage. "You would destabilize the peace we've maintained for millennia. Billions will die in the chaos that follows." But behind the commander, other crystalline figures were visible now, their forms shifting in what looked like debate. The quantum transmission reached its peak. Earth's shield frequencies, along with the complete specifications for the defense network, streamed outward in a burst of data that the Empire couldn't block. Sarah watched as ship after ship absorbed the information, their systems adapting and evolving. Then something unexpected happened. The Imperial command ship's color changed, its crystal structure shifting from cold blue to a warm amber. "Stand down," a new voice ordered. Not the commander's, but another Imperial leader. "The experiment has yielded its results." The entire command center froze. "Experiment?" Sarah demanded, her hand hovering over the final defense protocols. The new Imperial figure stepped forward, its crystalline form more fluid, more natural than the rigid commander's. For 10,000 years, we have sought a species worthy of joining the Imperial Council, not as subjects, but as equals, the figure explained. We needed a civilization that would not only resist integration but would choose to help others resist as well, even at the cost of their own safety. You chose to lower your shields not to save yourselves, but to give others a chance at freedom. The revelation hit like a thunderbolt. The Empire's rigid structure, their seeming cruelty, it had all been a test, not just of humanity's strength or technology, but of our fundamental nature. Would we choose to fight only for ourselves, or would we risk everything to help others? But Sarah wasn't ready to celebrate, and the other species, the ones you've kept under your control for thousands of years, her voice carried the weight of every civilization they'd seen in the Empire's records. The crystalline figure's form rippled with what might have been laughter. Look again at your sensors. Look at what's really happening on those ships. Dr. Rodriguez gasped as he reinterpreted the data. The resistance movements weren't fighting against their Imperial crews. They were the Imperial crews. Every integrated species had maintained their identity not in spite of the Empire's control, but because the Empire had ensured they could. The rigid conformity had been a facade, a galaxy-wide deception to test any new civilization that might arise. Welcome to the real Galactic Empire, the crystalline figure announced, its form now shifting through a rainbow of colors. Or rather, welcome to the Galactic Federation. We've been waiting a very long time for a species like yours. But as relief began to spread through the command center, Sarah noticed something in the tactical display that made her blood freeze. The quantum sensor readings were picking up massive energy signatures far beyond Neptune's orbit, signatures that dwarfed even the Empire's fleet. "I hate to interrupt," she said, her eyes fixed on the growing anomaly, "but I don't think we're done with surprises just yet. Something's coming, something bigger than all of us." The crystalline figure's colors darkened. "Ah," it said softly, "then it seems humanity's first test as part of the Federation is about to begin." The massive energy signatures beyond Neptune coalesced into something that defied conventional physics, a tier in space-time itself. Through the breach poured ships of impossible geometries, their hulls seeming to exist in multiple dimensions at once. The tactical display struggled to make sense of their numbers. "The Void Collective," the Federation leader explained, its crystalline form pulsing with dark blues and purples. "They exist beyond normal space-time, and they've been waiting for a moment of transition like this. When great powers shift, they feed on the chaos." Sarah looked at the tactical display, then at the faces of her crew. Hours ago, they'd been ready to sacrifice everything to defend Earth's freedom. Now they were part of something far larger, facing an enemy that threatened not just their world, but the entire galaxy. "How long have you been fighting them?" she asked. The Federation leader's colors swirled in what might have been a grimace. "Since before we began our search for species like yours. The Void Collective cannot be reasoned with or integrated. They consume entire realities, breaking down the barriers between dimensions until nothing remains but chaos." Lieutenant Parker's console lit up with new data as the Federation shared their complete tactical database. "Their ships," he reported, studying the readings with wide eyes. "They're not just crossing space, they're crossing possibilities. Each vessel exists in multiple timelines simultaneously. Which is why we needed you," the Federation leader said. "Humanity's quantum shield technology, it doesn't just block attacks, it stabilizes local space-time. You created exactly what the galaxy needs to fight them, without even knowing they existed." Dr. Rodriguez looked up from his analysis of the Federation's data. "The test wasn't just about how we'd react to the Empire, was it? You needed to know if we could innovate under pressure, find solutions to problems we didn't even understand." The Federation's response was cut short as the first wave of void ships reached the outer system. Their attack was like nothing Earth's sensors had ever recorded, weapons that didn't just destroy matter, but erased the possibility of its existence. Sarah straightened her uniform and faced the Federation leader. "Well then, let's not waste any more time. Earth will need every ship you can spare, and we'll need to transmit our shield specifications to the entire Federation fleet." A slight smile crossed her face. "Unless that's another test." The The crystalline figure's colors brightened. No more tests. From this moment forward, Earth stands as a full member of the Federation Council. Your world's capacity for innovation, combined with your instinct to protect others. It paused, its form shimmering with what might have been pride. The galaxy couldn't ask for better defenders. As Federation ships moved to support Earth's defense fleet, Sarah thought about how much had changed in just one day. Humanity had gone from facing integration to joining a galactic federation, only to immediately face an enemy that threatened all of reality itself. But looking at her crew, seeing the determination in their eyes, she knew humanity was ready. We had spent our entire history looking up at the stars, dreaming of our place among them. Now we had found it, not as conquerors or subjects, but as protectors. Send word to every Earth defense station, she ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's first order as Federation members. Tell them to prepare for dimensional incursion, and send a message to the Void Collective while you're at it. She smiled, thinking of every science fiction story that had prepared humanity for this moment. Tell them Earth says no to their version of reality too. The battle for existence itself was about to begin, and humanity would face it the same way we faced every challenge, together, not just with each other, but with every species that called this galaxy home. This wasn't the end of Earth's story. It was just the beginning of a much bigger one,